What is good, everybody? It's Jay Coffee Talk. Sub to the channel, hit the bell. We talk it all on this channel. But check it out, man. I just saw Queenzflip had Jake the Snake Roberts on his channel. And I don't know, man. Get in the comments, everyone. I've covered a couple wrestling videos here and there on this channel. I'm just curious to know if the viewers, if any of y'all mess with wrestling, if wrestling content would be anything you guys would be interested in from time to time. But I was a wrestling fan, not so much these days, but it is what it is, But anyways, man, Jake the Snake, we know, has been through it. You know what I mean? He's seen some tough times, and he's doing well these days. And that was something that he spoke about on the podcast, about how DDP and DDP yoga helped get him clean and sober. You know what I mean? Because Jake got into drink. I believe he always had a drinking problem, but things got pretty bad for him. We're talking about being addicted to crack, and there was a point in time. It's wild because I just recently was watching the Behind the Mat. It's an old documentary, a wrestling one that just was recently put back up on Netflix, and that shows a lot of Jake the Snake's dark times where after his WWE days where he was still wrestling on the independent circuit. There was a time when they were doing a Legends show, and Jake flat out told him, "Yo, give me some crack if you want me to show up when it came time." You know what I mean, to do the show. And it's good. DDP helped get him clean. I'm sure y'all probably seen that resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts. Was that 2015, 16 that came out? DDP got him on the straight and narrow, man. So shout out to DDP for doing that. He's helped Scott Hall, a.k.a. Razor Ramon, and, some other wrestlers get it together as well. Because, that wrestlers, especially during that era, things are a little different nowadays. There's more frequent testing. There's different guidelines and stuff like that. There's guaranteed contracts. Just like earlier when I was talking about with the NFL, with the collective bargaining agreement, the CBA, wrestling has negotiated things like that to help the wrestlers out. But back during that era, these dudes were wrestling 27, 28 days a month. And even though wrestling may be scripted, the abuse that they take on their body is real. You know what I mean? And a lot of these dudes get into painkillers, uppers to try to keep themselves going on these long tours, sleeping pills that help them sleep. It's a wild rock star almost life where your body gets beat up as well. But anyways, man, Jake's been doing good. He's been sober for quite some time, and he did not hold anything back on Queenzflip's platform. Now, he was very critical of HBK, Shawn Michaels, and Bret the Hitman Hart, right? Now, he was talking about the title and how some dudes needed the title to, feel that they accomplished something, or for them to be considered a legitimate wrestler and be over with the fans, as Jake never held title in the WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call it. He did go to WCW. I don't know if he got a title there, but, that's a whole nother story. But anyways, he said HBK and Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart were basically fighting over Sonny. Now, that was always disputed. Bret denied a lot that he was messing with Sonny. But he basically said these dudes were fighting over Sonny. They would whine and cry to Vince McMahon. It wouldn't do business, meaning that, these guys made so much money. Top paid performers in the company, and when it came time to do it, one wouldn't want to be the one who had to go out there and lose, you know what I mean? And that's not how you do business. Jake had a real old school, he's an old school dude, you know what I mean? You go out there, you do business, you know what I mean? And you work your ass off. And he also was critical on them as well because of their size, you know what I mean? He said these dudes were little dudes. He said Bret Hart was a great wrestler, but boring in the ring, and that Shawn Michaels, he had showmanship qualities and stuff like that, but he needed the title to be a legitimate wrestler. You know what I mean? That prior to getting the strap put on him, the HBK wasn't nothing. You know what I mean? Now, Jake never had the title, but you know, a lot of people might look at wrestling as corny, but if you watch wrestling back in the day, Jake the Snake, that heel character he played with the snake and everything like that, he was like scary, man. He was playing mind games with people. He was a legitimate wrestler. You know what I mean? And you know, we talked about that. Even though he didn't get the strap, you know, Jake the Snake was for real. And you know, I believe that, man. Like a lot of Jake's problems maybe held him back or whatever. You know, he ended up coming back with the WWE, WWF in like around 95, 96. And actually they did like a program where he went on to go to the, like, make a Cinderella comeback to the King of the Ring finals, losing to Steve Austin at that time. And that was like where Austin 316, the Attitude Era, the Stone Cold character, you know, that we all came to love and know and everything, was really, really born, you know. And he said Stone Cold Steve Austin was a legit champion, you know, like the best champion ever. He also went on to talk about The Rock. He gave The Rock a lot of props. He said The Rock was one of the best to ever do it. He did everything a wrestler would need to do to the fullest. You know what I mean? He could talk on the mic. He had the physique. He said he was an athlete. You know, he had a lot of great things to say about The Rock. Now, this was only like one episode, right? You know, as Queenzflip breaks up his interviews as well, kind of like the way Vlad does. But Queenzflip always puts out the full interviews, you know, and you don't have to wait a year to see it. But he also, you know, when the episode was ending, he went on to talk about racism in wrestling and that it was very prevalent back then, and he saw it, and, you know, he was not a fan of it. Now, that's when it cuts off, so, you know, it's kind of like a cliffhanger. Everyone's going to be very interested to hear, you know, what else he has to say in the next episode. But you know, we've heard a lot of wrestlers talk about that over the years, that, you know, black wrestlers were held back. My favorite wrestler was Ahmed Johnson, and he was the first black intercontinental champion. And you know, we didn't really, it was a long time before you saw a black world champion in the WWE. At least in WCW, they put it on Ron Simmons. A lot of people know him as Farouk. But you know, that's just the truth of things. Now, moving on, he talked about Brock Lesnar and had some things to say as well, man. You know, that Brock was a part-timer, meaning that, you know, he only wrestles a few times a year, and, you know, he doesn't really respect that. As, you know, we were just talking about, Jake was a heavy worker, and, you know, it was a rough road for him. Now, something else I want to talk about before I close this video out, right, is a lot of people believe that the movie The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke was based on the character of Jake the Snake Roberts. You know, because he, in that behind the mat or beyond the mat, whatever it's called, you see his struggle relationship with his daughter. There's other people that think that movie is about Lex Luger, you know, who is now in a wheelchair these days and everything like that. But I don't know. I think that movie could be about a lot of wrestlers, you know. It was an interesting movie, and you know, it's like a lot of people really don't, like, if you weren't a wrestling fan and you weren't really into it, and you don't really you know, look beyond what you see on TV and follow this stuff, man, you don't know the hard road that these guys go on. Like I said, things are cleaned up a little bit nowadays, and they're really trying to look out for people's health and stuff like that. But back then, man, it was, you know, it was crazy, you know. But Jake the Snake, I'll have to say, it's good to see him doing well. Like I said, this was no filter. He was not holding anything back. Now, there was times back in the day where he was known to be, we'll say, inconsistent with some of the things that he said. You know, there was, when he first left the WWE the first time around, he was mad because he wanted a creative position, a writing position. And like, he ended up not getting that position and quit the WWE. But in the Queenzflip interview, he was talking about how he did work with the creative side of things. So I don't know. We'll have to see as the interview goes on. I'm not trying to call the man a liar. I'm just saying if you go out there and really do your research, there's a lot of people that claim that Jake the Snake Roberts is known to be full of it from time to time, you know. But I don't know, man. I just wanted to tap in with everyone on my channel and you know, see what you guys thought about this Jake the Snake interview. His story is very interesting, even if you're not a wrestling fan. But also, like I said, I just wanted to see who on my channel would be into wrestling content from time to time. You know, as I always say, I cover a lot on this channel: music, news, sports, current events, all kinds of different things. There's something for everyone on this channel, you know. That's what it is. You know, this isn't all just hip hop content. I cover all different topics. So get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on everything I touched on. Any new viewers, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, but more importantly, join the discussion in the comment thread, because that's what it's all about on this channel, hearing from the people. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's Jay Coffee Talk signing out. Have a great day, y'all. I'm out of here. Peace.